Welcome back to the 14.6 podcast. We're going to unpack some big ideas hiding in plain sight today. We'll be diving into some fascinating source material that you sent our way, and by the end, we'll even share the meaning behind 14.6 itself. It's a bit of a biblical clue, kind of pointing us towards a greater path. But first, let's talk business. You sent us a video by entrepreneur Myron Golden about a mentor you might not expect.
Yeah, King Solomon.
King Solomon.
Not every day you see ancient wisdom and modern business advice kind of collide, right? It really makes you wonder what timeless principles might we be overlooking.
Exactly. Golden's video, How and Why I Do Business Like King Solomon, argues that Solomon, known for his wisdom, was also a business mastermind. And Golden breaks down his approach into what he calls a three-pronged business model.
Yeah, that's right. And that first prong is consulting to contemporaries. King Solomon, according to Golden, was highly sought after by other rulers for his advice. He was essentially a high-level consultant using his wisdom to guide others in their own leadership.
Golden actually applies this concept to his own career. Before he was a well-known business guru, he was teaching and coaching network marketers. He recognized he had a knack for it, a strength that others were willing to pay for. So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, he focused on this niche. And that's how his success started to snowball.
It's such a valuable takeaway for anyone building a business today. We often feel this pressure to be generalists. But Solomon's example, as Golden interprets it, suggests that specializing can be far more effective. Like, if we can pinpoint our strengths and offer targeted advice, we can become invaluable to the right people.
Okay, on to prong number 2, communicating to crowds. Golden believes that Solomon didn't just offer one-on-one advice. He also shared his wisdom with larger audiences, likely in public forums. This is where things start to sound very familiar, right?
Absolutely. Think about it. Conferences, webinars, even podcasts. These are all modern-day versions of Solomon's public forums. The method of delivery has evolved, but that core principle remains the same. If you have valuable knowledge, packaging it in a compelling way and sharing it with a larger audience can create a very viable business.
Golden even suggests that Solomon's teachings weren't necessarily free. He points to the gifts Solomon received as evidence that people paid for access to his wisdom.
That's a fascinating point. It suggests that the concept of paying for knowledge and expertise isn't new at all. What we see is a modern business model selling information through courses, memberships, or speaking engagements might have ancient roots. And think about the value of what Solomon was offering, wisdom that could impact entire kingdoms.
It really makes you consider the worth of information and how we exchange it both then and now. But let's move on to prong number 3, the one that gets me most excited.
Continuity cash flow. Yes, the cornerstone of a stable and predictable income. Golden points out that King Solomon received annual payments, which he interprets as an early form of recurring revenue. It's about building long-term relationships and offering ongoing value, which leads to a consistent income stream for the provider and reliable support for the client.
It's a win-win, right? And we see this model everywhere today, from subscription services to membership programs. People are willing to pay a premium for consistent access and support, especially if they trust the provider. Golden himself has a high-ticket coaching program which costs $155,000 and only accepts 100 people at a time.
Wow, that's quite an investment. It really speaks to the level of trust he's built with his audience and the value he delivers.
It does make you wonder what kind of impact can he have on those 100 people with that level of commitment on both sides. It's a very different approach than just selling a one-off product or service.
Yeah, it's fascinating to consider that ripple effect, isn't it? The impact one person's knowledge and guidance can have on others and how that spreads outwards. It's almost like a seed being planted and growing into something much larger.
That's a great analogy. And it makes me think about the bigger picture of what we're discussing. We started with these seemingly disparate concepts, ancient wisdom and modern business, but they're actually deeply connected.
Exactly. Golden's interpretation of King Solomon's model isn't just about making money, it's about aligning your work with your values, using your strengths to serve others, and creating a legacy that extends beyond yourself.
It reminds me of something we touched on earlier. The meaning behind our podcast name, 14.6. It's actually a reference to John 14.6 in the Bible, where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
Ah, yes. And if we think about it in the context of our conversation, it adds another layer of depth. Golden seems to suggest that finding your path, your way, isn't just about building a successful business. It's about discovering your purpose, aligning your work with a greater good, and ultimately making a positive impact on the world.
It's almost like a spiritual journey intertwined with entrepreneurship. And perhaps that's the real key to lasting success. It's not just about profits, it's about finding fulfillment in the work itself and using your skills to contribute to something larger than yourself.
That's a powerful message, and one that resonates deeply with me. It challenges us to think beyond the bottom line and consider the legacy we're creating with our work.
So if we bring it back to King Solomon's three-pronged model, those prongs become more than just business strategies. They become guiding principles for a meaningful life.
Yes, consulting to contemporaries becomes about using our expertise to guide and support others. Communicating to crowds transforms into sharing our knowledge and insights to uplift and inspire a wider audience. And continuity cash flow evolves into building something sustainable that provides ongoing value and creates a lasting positive impact.
It's amazing how a deeper understanding of these principles can shift our perspective, isn't it? It's not just about what we do, but why we do it and who we're serving in the process.
And perhaps that's the most valuable takeaway from Golden's interpretation of King Solomon's wisdom. It's a reminder that business, when done right, can be a force for good in the world.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening who are looking to grow your businesses, especially locally, we have a resource that might be helpful. If you're looking to connect with other businesses and expand your reach, you can reach out to info@businessreferred.com for more information about effective local business advertising strategies.
It's a fantastic way to tap into that collective wisdom and support of your local business network. After all, building a thriving business is often about collaboration and finding those win-win partnerships.
We hope this deep dive into King Solomon's business model, as presented by Myron Golden, has given you a fresh perspective on how to approach your own entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, remember, it's not just about the mechanics of building a business. It's about aligning your work with your values and finding that deeper sense of purpose.
As you go forward, ask yourself, what legacy do you want to build? What positive impact do you want to have on the world? The answers to those questions might just lead you to your own version of success, just like King Solomon found his.
And just maybe, like Solomon, you'll discover that true success is about more than just the bottom line. It's about using your gifts to make a meaningful contribution to the world around you.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.